What's good? What's good? I'm back. Yours truly, one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. Today I'm going to react to Russell Brand going on Fox News, and I watched some of it, and I think after seeing this is why I think Fox and Tucker has the number one show, and Fox News is probably the most watched news channel and probably most trusted, because you definitely won't see this on Democratic or liberal ran news stations. Before we do, though, let's give you a word from Dizzle.
That turn, that lit, that slap. It is that one. That everybody talking about Dizzle new drink. They like that's that turn, that lit, that slap. It is that one. That everybody talking about Dizzle new drink. They
like you can Dizzle too. Dizzle is a premium luxury liqueur mixed with agave tequila, French cognac, and orange liquor mango mix. Throw your Dizzle on ice, and it's nice. If you want to order your very own bottle or bottles of Dizzle premium luxury liqueur, go to dizzlebrand.com, click on our locations, click on one of the top 3 website links. Must be 21 and over. Shipping and handling is included. Below that's locations in California, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Arkansas. And right now, Arkansas is the number 1 state for Dizzle. So thank you, Little Rock. And also, we got the new blue labels. We got the new blue label bottles for Dizzle, which look so much better, you know. And just so y'all know, I've Googled this. There isn't a agave tequila and cognac on the market, but they don't have the orange liquor mango mix. They're not an already prepared flavored drink. So Dizzle is the number 1 agave tequila French cognac with orange liquor mango mix bottled on the market. You know, check them out. And don't forget the Dizzle Brand merch as well, dizzlebrand.com. Click on the merchandise store or go to etsy.com, search for Dizzle Brand, or etsy.com/shop/Dizzle Brand. That's etsy.com/shop/Dizzle Brand. All right, let's get into it. Russell Brand on Fox.
Tucker Carlson and Greg Gutfield's Fox News show leading the neoliberal establishment to attack me for being a right-wing conspiracy theorist. But is it necessary to have new conversations? And who is it that's interested in censorship now?
And you know, let me chime in. And that's the problem with everybody on the left, the far left, the left. As soon as you disagree with them, you're classified as either right or the enemy. Nobody's doing that on the right. They're not saying that, oh, I disagree with you on one thing. You must be liberal, or you must be a Democrat, or you must be a domestic terrorist or the enemy. I mean, I've been called a domestic terrorist because I wouldn't take a vaccination. I was called a domestic terrorist because I knew that wearing masks didn't have anything to do with me not getting COVID. It was complete horseshit, complete bullshit. I haven't been sick in literally probably gone almost 4 years, and it has nothing to do with wearing a mask, getting a vaccination. It has everything to do with I don't live with nobody. I live by myself, and I don't work with nobody. It has everything to do with the social distancing part. Let's keep it moving.
Is it the left or is it the right? Hello there, you 6 million awakening wonders. Thanks for joining me on this voyage to truth and freedom, which will involve new alliances, new conversations, new ways for peripheral voices to attack centralized establishment authoritarian powers, which is exactly why I was appearing on Fox News and having conversations with other commentators and pundits from across the political spectrum. The controversy was stirred up by my appearance on shows like Tucker Carlson, Greg Gutfield. I spoke to Ben Shapiro, also numerous right-wing commentators. You'll remember, if you're my age, that right wing just used to be one of the things that a person could be and wasn't automatically associated with things like fascism and racism and all the ideas that I think fundamentally we're agreed are bad ideas wherever we stand politically. So what is the agenda of the neoliberal establishment media?
I think he's wrong. when he says, I think we can all agree no matter where we stand politically. That's the problem. That's the problem. As soon as you disagree with one thing, you're the worst person on the fucking planet, according to these motherfuckers. So he's wrong about that.
Want spoken about, what do they not want spoken about? Because let me tell you up front, what I learned from my conversations with figures from the conservative right, let's call them, is that there is a new willingness to form new alliances in order to be able to attack centralized establishment authoritarian power, i.e. explicitly, people that are conservative and right wing are willing to have a truce with and alliances with people that are really progressive. They are in fact willing to accept that the only way forward for us is to have more democratic power and autonomy in our communities. And
let me stop him, but you know what? When you reverse it, there's no truth to it because they're not willing. When when the tables turn and you flip what he's saying, they're not willing to sit down and have a civil conversation, civil discourse over, whatever topic. And there's a lot of controversial topics going on nowadays. It seems like almost everything is controversial. And I'm not running away from controversial topics. I'm not hiding from them. I'm coming out on the forefront and I'm willing to talk about anything pretty much nowadays.
that the price for having autonomy and authority in your own community, and I mean power that's achieved democratically, is to allow other people to have their own power and authority in their own communities. However, centralized power wants, of course, a centralized, authoritative, institutionalized power to dictate what is possible and benefits from ongoing cultural conflagration. The reason I go on these various shows is in order to have conversations like this, because I believe change is possible. And before I show you these clips, bear in mind that just a few short years ago, I did this at Fox News.
This is private property.
This bit here?
Yes.
Whose property is it?
The building.
Who's the building belong to?
It doesn't matter.
No, it does matter.
It doesn't matter.
I'll just say it then.
You want to get arrested?
We were booked on to Sean Hannity's show. Okay. And then it was cancelled. Can I come up, have a look around, maybe have a look at the studio, touch some stuff, meet some of the people from the Hannity show?
Got a wig outside.
Why?
Because that's what we want you to do.
So, here are some of the moments from the conversations I had, and I want you to ask yourself these questions and let me know in the chat and comments what you think. Do these conversations improve the chances of us falling?
I like Russell Brand, but my business is my home. If he would have came to my business and did that, and you would have asked me why I tell you got to leave, you would have got drug out by your hair. Like, this is the thing, man. Like, when you disrespect, like, I get what he's saying. He asked, who owns the, like, who owns it? But like like this wouldn't fly out in the country. Like, once somebody tells you it's private property and to get off, you get off. Because if you would have did this out in the country, they could shoot you and get away with it. It's legal. If I tell you you're on my private property and I tell you to leave once and you don't leave, I can shoot you and get away with it because you're trespassing on private property. Like that's the thing. Private property pretty much damn near has its own laws. So yeah, I'm not with him on this. Like, when you go on private property, it's like going to somebody's house and disrespecting them.
New power structures and new systems. Who is it that seems to be benefiting from the ongoing culture war? And let me know in the chat and the comments, because I'm interested in what you think, and I believe you can handle nuanced thinking. Let's have a look, first of all, at my appearance on Tucker Carlson on Fox News. In this conversation, both Tucker Carlson and I came to it knowing that we would disagree, presumably, about a lot of issues. That I, broadly speaking, belong to what you might call the cultural left. That he is a conservative person, you might say. We were surprised, in fact, about how many things we agreed upon, I suppose because we both agree with individual and community freedom. There were moments where I gently and respectfully confronted Tucker Carlson around some of the issues where I explicitly disagree with him.
I love how he said, I gently and respectfully. So if when Ted Cruz went on the View, which I give him Ted Cruz, I give him all the props and respect in the world for going on the View, because when you go on the View, you know that they're going to attack you already. They're not going to be respectful. They're not going to be gentle. They're going to be disrespectful. They're going to be hateful. You know, they're just going to automatically attack you, and with a lack of common sense. There's nobody on the View has any common sense. But this is why people can sit there and say all they want about left and right. But this is why I agree with the right more than the left, because the left isn't willing to sit down and be civil. All they're willing to do is attack you, berate you with name calling and labels, and they have their minds already made up. You can't change their mind even if you present facts and evidence, because they hate truth and facts and evidence. They think like truth is and facts and evidence is probably the most sinful thing on the fucking planet. It's probably the truth is probably racist to the left, because why else would they hate truth so much?
For example, the way he's spoken about homelessness in the past, perhaps identity issues of sexuality. And I was surprised, in fact, about how little Tucker Carlson really cared about regulating the private life of other people. But what I would say is that what inspired me about this conversation is both Tucker Carlson and I are absolutely disenchanted with establishment power, whether it's on the left or the right, that neither of those terms mean anything anymore, that authority and government power has been co-opted by financial interest to such a degree that no one is voting for anything meaningful anymore. Have a look. These are them facts that I was going to tell you about, if I may. I hope you will. I certainly shall do my best.
Because we like facts.
Wanted to do it down the barrel.
Evidence.
Did you see that? Did you see the presumptiveness of me there, Tucker? To turn straight ahead for my single. A single that frankly wasn't there, because this is Tucker Carlson today.
Let's get a nicer shot on Mr. Brand.
Thank you. Look at he directs from the floor. Hello, America. In the world of energy, energy that we require to do stuff, to move things about, to warm our homes, at least 100 members of Congress own fossil fuel stocks, of which 59 are Republicans and 41 are Democrats. Oh, look, the Republicans.
Which makes sense that more Republicans own energy stocks, because Republicans, conservatives, they're not really with this climate change thing. But the fact that 49% of 49 Democrats own it is really hypocritical and such a double standard when they're the ones pushing climate change and electric cars and solar and wind. Let's keep it moving.
Are a bit worse. Pharma. Of the $263 million of the pharmaceutical industry spent on lobbying in 2021, it gave 61% to the Democrat Party and 39% to the Republicans. Oh, and no, the Democrat Party is a bit worse.
You know why that makes sense to me, too? Because who was pushing COVID harder? Who's pushing vaccinations and making us wear masks? And that makes a lot of sense that Democrats got more into that, more invested in that. And that's probably why they're pushing us to take the vaccines and stuff like that, because they're going to profit off of us taking the vaccines, apparently.
Worse. Wall Street. In 2022, commercial banks spent over $30 million lobbying Congress, 61% to the Republicans and 39% to the Democrats. Oh no, look, the Republicans are a bit worse. If you've seen any of the criticism in the neoliberal media, you might think, well, what was it about? Because these are not right-wing talking points. This is anti-establishment, anti-authoritarian, anti-financial corruption rhetoric that everyone should be interested in. So it makes me think that the voices that are attacking me...
That's the thing, though. Once you disagree with one thing on their side, it's that you're the enemy. We can't talk no more. We can't be friends. It's one thing we disagree with, and we can't be friends. That's the thing. These people on the far left expect you to agree with them in every little single thing that they agree on. Which no two people on the planet are going to agree with every single fucking thing. It's mathematically fucking impossible, man, as far as I'm concerned.
are, whether unconsciously or not, supporting establishment power. Let me know in the comments, let me know in the chat. Let's see what's coming next. Nearly 20% of Congress members, 49 Democrats and 44 Republicans, have been trading shares of companies in industries they are supposed to be overseeing as part of their committee assignment. Each one of these facts indicates a potential solution to the problem that it describes.
So basically what he's saying is these people are buying stocks into the things that they have oversee, like the industries or the things that they have oversee over. They're buying stocks into that. They got the insider information. They got the leverage. They know what's going on. We don't know until afterwards. That's like me and my friend always talking, like, we need to follow these Nancy Pelosi's of the worlds and stuff and find out what they're investing into as soon as they invest into it.
Let members of Congress own stocks at all.
I agree.
Pharma, do not accept lobbying money from the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, but that's the problem. You think pharma's not going to accept money? Come on, man. Who's not going to? This is the problem I have with some of these people's talking points, man. I know Russell Brand means well, but he's delusional. Who's not going to take money that you give to them? You giving me money, I'm taking it all day. If you're just giving me money, I'm going to take it. You know, like, who's not going to take money that you give to them? It just makes no sense.
It's a health industry. The interest should be, as the Hippocratic Oath declares, to do no harm. And get this, maybe even help people. A lot of my time spent thinking, I wish I could pull that necklace back in front. There's a pendant there and it's gone off to the, wait a minute. Oh no, it swung to the right. And if you remember,
he might be a conservative because his chain went to the right while he was on a Tucker Carlson show.
Move the gargantuan motivation for profit, and I'm not talking about ending trade and profit and all of those kind of extremist arguments. I'm simply saying this is a behemoth. This is corporate gigantism. This is an outgrowth. This is a tumor. This has gone too far, and it is possible to change it. And people that say it's not possible to change it are invested in it staying the same. You will notice that. In defense, military contractors have spent $2.5 billion on lobbying over the past 2 decades. They split their checks more or less evenly between the Democrat and Republican candidates, almost as if they've anticipated the possibility that either of those parties could get into power. Oh no, we've spent all our money on the Republican parties. What if the Democrat Party get into power? Should we give them some money as well? Oh yeah, that means whoever gets in, our outcomes will be served. That's not...
Yeah, like, military doesn't just bet on one horse over the other. They're betting on both horses because either horse is going to win, and they know their interests are basically going to be taken care of. And that's the thing. Like, only time I can remember when we didn't have a lot of war was under Clinton. And I think we had Black Hawk Down, which was Somalia. Now, Somalia, that's the thing. We have to decide as Americans when we should have to step in and help other countries, and when other countries might have brought this on themselves, or both countries are basically corrupt and neither one of them is really the good guy. You know, like when Ukraine and Russia, to me, neither one of them is really the good guy. Ukraine is a scumbag of a country too. They do a lot of human trafficking, sex trafficking. You know, Russia and Ukraine. And technically, Ukraine and Russians are pretty much the same thing. So it's like Russians fighting Russians or Ukraine's fighting Ukrainians. This is more of a civil war, if you ask me. It's more of a civil war, if you ask me. And nobody, that's the thing. Nobody helped us during our civil war. We get into the middle of a couple of civil wars here and there, but I don't know if we should ever intervene on civil wars. I don't know if we ever should intervene on civil wars. And that's the thing. War is probably the biggest money maker on the planet. I mean, we just had a $30 million drone get knocked down. And the way they reported it, talking about Russians, aircrafts harassed the drone like a drone is a fucking person, man. Like a drone has fucking feelings or dots or sensitivity and shit. It's such horse shit. Let's keep it moving.
Right-wing rhetoric, except unless you feel that what right-wing means ultimately is a position that's anti-government and anti-establishment. And I know some of you do. I know that that's exactly what many of you feel. Let me know in the chat and the comments. But what I'm interested in are systems of organisation that are beneficial to the people that they purport to serve and are accessible to the people that they purport to serve. Do you not think it's possible when you see things like Uber and all of these new tech apps that ultimately aggregate various powers, whether it's a car or a house, centralize it and allow it to be distributed, meaning things are possible now that just didn't used to be possible? Don't you think that that could be applied elsewhere to political power, that you could have systems where you vote for how utilities are run, systems how you vote for how resources are spent? Oh no, that would mean you wouldn't need people hundreds of miles away or thousands of miles away, in the case of the United States of America, that are lobbyable, biasable, corruptible, making decisions with your money when they're getting paid from elsewhere. That would be a terrible system. 180 Democrats and 149 Republicans joined forces to pass last year's record $839 billion National Defense Authorization Act. The Pentagon spent $14 trillion after 9/11. 55% of it went to for-profit defense contractors. Over half of the 14 trillion spent by the Pentagon went to for-profit defense contractors. That doesn't mean that everything they do at Northrop Grumman, who I think make amazing telescopes, or Lockheed Martin, who I'm sure do incredible stuff, is nefarious, but it does mean it's worthy of investigation, and these are facts that are significant in the way that your country is organized, in the way that your media reports on stories, and the way that all of us live our lives.
My guy Roker is right. He does talk too fast. He just talks too fast, and he uses all these big words while he's talking fast that I don't think the average person will understand what he's saying.
Because, of course, those tax dollars are yours. That's your money that's being described in those enormous figures. Now, of course, at the moment...
You know what? I think I've heard enough. This is why Tucker Carlson has the best show as far as ratings goes. Because if this was MSNBC, CNN, or one of those other news channels, while he was going through, stating the facts, I guarantee somebody on CNN will be pushing back on every time he, says, oh, the Democrats have more power in this, like the big pharma. Democrats have more power in big pharma. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, CNN or everybody else would be pushing back. Like, Tucker's just letting him put the info out there, and he's not pushing back, and that's the thing. You go on all these other shows, these liberal shows, they're just going to interrupt you, tell you, where's you getting this from? How do you know this is true? I don't believe you. That's false. It's not true. This, that, and the third. Even when they know it is, it's crazy that we have to have people from the UK come and tell us how to run our country, because we're running a country like shit right now. This is not United States of America. It's the divided states of America. Every city, every state, every county has its own agenda. But I do agree with Russell Brand, man. Like, we got to stop acting like I don't sit here and try to act like the Republicans are the lesser evil. There is no such thing as lesser evil. But liberals are acting like Democrats are the good guys when they're not. They're just liberals and Democrats are wolf in sheep's clothing. I mean, we're going to honestly think the political party that pretty much Andrew Jackson started, which started the cotton slave fields and started all the slavery down south and the KKK and Jim Crow. We're just supposed to believe that, they made a 180. They're the good guy now, and the Republican Party, which fought to end slavery and had like probably 500,000 people died, spilt their blood over, is suddenly the most evil party on the planet. It's such horseshit. They both got corrupt people on both sides. You know, it's like when people act like one race of people is more evil than another. Every race of people has evil people, has hateful people, has people who choose not to follow man's laws and rules and regulations. And not that I could totally say I disagree with them, because I'm a laws of nature guy. I don't believe in the laws of man, but I do follow them because they have consequences. And I'm not trying to go to prison over man's laws. So, yeah, shouts out to Russell Brand. Now I know why Tucker has the #1 show, because anybody else, if it was one of those other news channels, they would push back on everything Russell Brand was saying. They would probably be like, every time he says something about Democrats, they'd be like, lies, 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 not true. Once again, thank you for tuning in, Paul Pickett Podcast, and I'm out.